All right, so welcome to another episode of our Smart Kitchen and Bar here at FoodableTV.com. We, of course, are doing some great things today with Chef Pastor of the Rusty Pelican. Nice to have you.
Good.
Welcome to the set, man. You're here.
Amazing. It's a
you
beautiful
made it.
set, yeah.
Let's go into a little bit about the Rusty Pelican and kind of tell us, for some of our viewers that maybe don't know it, it is an icon here in Miami.
So Rusty Pelican's been around for about 50 years. And it's, I call it the big brother restaurant of the city.
There you go.
And, we did a major renovation about 7 years ago and just gutted it and just tried to bring it back to life from where it was before.
You were telling me about your covers there. I was even blown away by the number of guests you can serve in a day.
Yeah, our numbers, we can do 700 covers on a Saturday night in season.
That's great.
Plus our private events that we have upstairs for 500 people, so we could have anywhere about 1,200 people on property all at once.
Slide into the menu a little bit for us. Kind of walk us through, for people that have not been to the Rusty Pelican, kind of what are they seeing when they walk into your
Rusty
restaurant?
Pelican is, we wanted to give it an identity. So we said, we have to be a seafood restaurant. We're on the water, we have the view, we have amazing wine, we have to do seafood.
Yeah.
And being in this area of, the U.S. or the country or the world, the fish is just amazing. We get some really quality stuff from South America,
right,
from Central America, from, Maine lobster. I mean, it's amazing food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something that we are starting to see more and more, is just the expansion of seafood. Obviously, today we're going to be talking about Faroe Island salmon and introducing it into a brunch or breakfast type application. When you look at the uses of seafood, because we are seeing some trends that are really showing a slide in how seafood's being consumed by guests all across the country, one of the top performers in terms of, especially around millennial dining, of all the proteins, it's one of the few that are up in consumption in millennial dining. Kind of curious, why do you think that's the case?
Everyone wants to eat healthy, so you associate fish with, low fat, healthy, and something that's sustainable, that is not gonna, it's gonna help keep that weight off, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why, and we see a lot of people going, not eating meat, becoming pescatarians,
right,
and it's just a huge, huge trend. And salmon is so versatile too. Salmon, you can eat it raw with sashimi and sushi. You can cook it, you can smoke it. I mean, it almost works like a piece of beef.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about when you look at suppliers for great seafood. What is important to you for connecting with a great supplier? What is it that you look for?
Trackability. Meaning that, where it comes from exactly, the ship that it comes from, what part of the ocean it comes from, and then how it's transported is super important too.
Right. So I think obviously we're seeing more and more suppliers that are really focusing in on the whole process of sourcing in general. When you look at non-GMO and some of the things that, especially with antibiotic-free type proteins, that's a huge application scenario, because it's a huge selling tool, for them to put it on the menu and get chefs like yourself to get rolling with it. So today we're going to be doing what? Kind of walk me through the menu.
So we're going to do a brunch salmon dish.
Okay.
We have a huge brunch footprint here in Miami. We've won Best Brunch a few years in a row.
Great.
People's Choice. So, we do brunch really well.
All right.
So we're going to do the salmon with potato cakes, some roasted rainbow carrots, some young coconut, Thai chili, and a nice egg.
All right, perfect. Just
So
kind of
we're
walk
going to
me
start
through.
with potato cake first.
Okay.
So I'm going to heat we want to shallow fry it, get it nice and golden brown.
Right.
And then, so what I did with the potato cake is I shredded it, and then inside we put a little egg whites, some paprika, salt, pepper, some dill, some chive, and a little cornstarch to bind it. And then,
so the cornstarch is binding it together?
Helps bind it together, and then actually put it in the fridge or freezer depending on how much time. So then that hardens everything, and then you can have something that holds together really well.
Nice. Okay.
And it's important to strain that excess liquid from the potato, because we're putting on a box grater raw.
Okay. So you're going to pick up a lot of moisture.
So you're going to pick up a lot of moisture. You want to dry that out. All right. So let's try this here. I'm going to make sure that we have the oil nice and hot. We preheated the oil earlier. So.
seafood introduction and you know, kind of focusing on seafood in the brunch aspect, are you seeing guests come in with a certain expectation of what they want in terms of the menu items themselves?
You know, I think people come with an open mind to our restaurant.
Okay.
So yeah, they have. I think they're surprised a lot of times because they see, you know, we have, you know, a lobster Benedict. We do a crab huevos rancheros. We have a smoked salmon Benedict. So there's so many different applications that you can do with brunch, and it's not necessarily just like an egg on top.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have a savory waffle and pork belly sandwich. I mean, there's a whole variety of brunch things that include seafood, but you can have a lot of fun with breakfast with seafood for breakfast. I mean,
which I love. I am a big fan of seafood for breakfast. So I'm really excited to see how you're putting this one together.
Right. So once it comes out, it's a little salt. Perfect. Put it on a cloth or paper towel. Let some of that excess oil on. But if it's nice and hot, you're not going to see a lot of oil on there.
Mm-hmm. What's next on our lineup?
So next thing we're going to do is this. We're going to sear the salmon here.
Okay.
Season it with salt and pepper. I also like the salmon sometimes with the skin on.
Definitely.
You can get this one came skin off, which is great too, but you can get a nice crunch on there with the skin on the salmon too. So if you have it either way, it'll work.
Cool.
Make sure we get that nice sear. You hear that sizzling sound. Make sure that it's gonna help the fish from sticking to the pan too much.
Mm-hmm. Golden touch there.
Yeah. So you know, building the plate, you want to make sure that you know you have enough flavor, textures, and create some you know freshness to it as well. So that's why we're going to do the carrots. We have some young coconut to fold in there, and then we have a nice orange zest to kind of brighten it up a little bit.
All right. Looking good.
All right, so now we're gonna start working on the carrots, but before we do that, I did a step to kind of help with the process, especially with the volume and how busy we are. We roasted the carrots for about 10 to 12 minutes with olive oil and salt. Okay. So then the pickup here is quick, right? Thinking restaurant style. Yeah.
All right.
So a little canola oil. We have our rainbow carrots here. They're very sweet. The heirloom organic carrots, they're amazing. They give this just beautiful flavor.
You know, obviously seafood doesn't necessarily have to be center of the plate. It can be something like what you're doing here, which is a little bit more flexible, a lot more ingredients, definitely introducing a lot of different flavor profiles and textures in this. Is that something that you see as a style that you know, chefs are trying to use more often to kind of decentralize the plate, or use it in a way that is really kind of exploding a lot of different flavors and textures?
What we're seeing a trend is getting these amazing produce and really highlighting them. Okay. To the point where sometimes that potato or that veg can be the star of the dish.
Yeah. Off we go with the carrots. Yeah, those look amazing.
We also took some young coconut, took the juice out of the coconut, and then took the meat out of the coconut so that I'm going to deglaze this pan with the coconut water. Okay. Fold in some of that coconut. Okay. Fresh coconut as well.
Perfect.
Sweeten.
Like that.
And then we're also going to hit it with a little bit of this chili and honey glaze.
Now, why the chili and honey here?
Because the same thing with the caramelization of the sugars. So you caramelize the sugars, you'll get this nice glaze finish to it. And then this, you know, I like hot and cold. I like to play with those flavors too.
Good.
Put it back in here.
Perfect.
So what's cool about this dish is that it can go either way. You can, you know, keep it as a dinner dish if you want without the egg. Okay. And add the egg, and you have
so with just the egg, we bring it into the brunch menu.
I think so. It also gives it a nice richness to the dish because there's not a whole lot of fat. Okay. Anywhere in
there
this
you go.
Dish
That's
also.
good. That's a good point. Yeah.
That's an important thing. Instead of using butter and making it that super rich. Yes. You get nice protein from that egg, and you have that nice runny, sunny side up egg yolk. Yeah.
So flexibility in a menu is really important. Obviously, cross utilization, taking salmon into the dinner or to the lunch menu.
In any restaurant, you have to have some form of application more than once, one time of that dish. So, you know, for example, these carrots, you can use it as a side. Sell it as a side, put it on that dish, and you can even serve it raw for salad. So you can go in different direction. Same thing with the salmon. We do some sushi on our menu. So, you know, we get the whole sides of salmon, and then whatever we don't use from the salmon, then we cut up for salmon tartare, we cut up for salmon rolls.
Brunch is really kind of picking up in terms of people utilizing that as like one of their main things to do on the weekend. It's like a destination now. So
we do brunch on Saturday and Sunday because of that reason.
Yeah.
So brunch doesn't have to just be Sunday. Saturday, you know, and it's become not only just its whole meal, but it's also become a party.
Yeah.
So now we will build the dish.
Okay.
Go here. So we'll start with the potato cake.
Okay.
Put them both on the bottom there. And we'll get the salmon. A nice piece of salmon here.
Kind of using a bowl presentation here for this dish. Is that just because of the idea that this is going to kind of get a little messy when people break into it?
Yeah, I mean, it's also, for me, it's also kind of like a potato hash kind of thing, right? You know, when you get the egg and you can, you know, mix it all and get all that flavor in there. Some orange zest here.
Okay.
Make sure that we can see the egg. It doesn't cover up anything.
A little dill on top.
A little garnish. Got the chili glaze.
So okay, perfect. Just give it a little bit of color around it.
And that's it.
Perfect. Kind of get that in there like that. All right, perfect. Very rich, great color, textures. They're all over the place, man. This is like, you've got this crunch right here, this really silky smooth salmon, then kind of this interesting flair of, and I'm getting that chili too. Yeah. Right there on the edge. Yep. And then obviously the egg yolk kind of creates that creamy, real, you know, umami feel. Chef, thanks so much for stopping in on the Smart Kitchen. You killed it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We're out of here.
Thank you.